other day, I'm hanging out with my friend Joe. He's making fun of me because I don't know the roots of words. I didn't give it much thought. But then, later on, the strangest thing happened. It was a cold night, and I was alone, walking in my trench coat at the side of the road, when a man who I didn't know handed me a note. It was folded and written in the code of roots. Had to break down the code, so let's see. First, I got a dictionary from my friend Lee. D-I-C-T, that's speak or say. Lee dictated, I didn't contradict, okay? Art itself like autograph, it's gotta be. But this note wasn't an autobiography. I kept reading, and what did I see? Ped and pod, which relate to feet. That's what my podiatrist told me. I pedal past pedestrians trying to impede me. Port is carry, you know the haps. I support the porter who carried my bags. You can transport a portable TV that you import from Canada, BC. This note was still confusing, but I pressed on. If the haters think I'm gonna stop, they guessed wrong. Telly means floor, like television, no doubt, or the telescope that I telephoned about. Telemedic, I'm telekinetic, or might be. Deciphering this note might take the life of me.
Let's get back, son, back to the roots. We linguistically digging for clues. Back to the origin, back to the roots. It's all connected, let's find the truth. Let's get back, son, back to the roots. We linguistically digging for clues. Back to the origin, back to the roots. It's all connected, let's find the truth.
Let me get specific, take a closer look. Spec means look, that's what it says in my book. I inspected the note and I had to respect. It was a fine specimen in one aspect. The shape or form was uniform, and I still had to figure out the formula. I was running out of time like the tempo. I asked my contemporaries, I guess they didn't get the memo. I didn't want this mystery to turn tragic. I had to write out the clues, had to graph it. Graph is written like my autograph, or written by light like a photograph. Photo is light, yeah, but hold on. Open the shutter, I captured a couple photons. I transmitted the photo via text. Mint or miss means send, yeah, you guessed. My commitment to this mission was intermittent at best. I must admit the whole thing was leaving me stressed. Meter means measure. My thermometer measured my temperature and it was off the register. I prayed to the stars, that's Aster. Astronauts blast off, asteroids move faster. Just then, phono a sound like a symphony, or was a phonograph around? It was the guy from before who had given me the note. His mustache was thick, his glasses low. I said, this is the fin, the end, I must know. Finally define this, I'm at the end of my rope. The finale came quickly, it wasn't slow. He took off his glasses, lo and behold, it was my friend Joe who was playing a prank in his own nerdy way. Yeah, Joe, thanks.
Let's get back, son, back to the roots. We linguistically digging for clues. Back to the origin, back to the roots. It's all connected, let's find the truth. Let's get back, son, back to the roots. We linguistically digging for clues. Back to the origin, back to the roots. It's all connected, let's find the truth.
All right, so we're going to look at our vocabulary words for this week. Some of these words are in the book Enemy Pie, and then some are going to be some new words. So the first word is squinted, which means look closely to see better. Next word is begged. You are asking for something. Noticed, saw or observed. Panicked. If you are panicked, you are worried about something bad. Crumpled, wrinkled or furrowed. Mumbled, said something that someone else couldn't understand. Now, these are going to be our new Greek and Latin roots. So at the beginning of this video, you watched a short video from Flocabulary that kind of explained Greek and Latin roots. And at the end of this video, there's going to be another section where we're going to talk a little bit more about these. So these aren't actual words by themselves, but they're just a part of a word. So ped means feet or by foot So go ahead and start thinking about if you know any words that contain ped. The next one is another root. It is man, which means hand. And then also manu is the root, and it also means hand. So man and manu have the same meaning. Our next word is alliteration. This is something that we'll talk about a little bit more. It's a type of figurative language. So alliteration is the repetition of the initial consonant sound. So a lot of tongue twisters use alliteration. Next is analyze. So I will often ask you to analyze the text, or we analyzed characters last week. That means to study, examine, or break down carefully. A monopoly. If you remember in Frindle, it said that Mrs. Granger had a monopoly on being the ELA teacher in 5th grade. So that is exclusive ownership, possession, or control. So when it said Mrs. Granger had the monopoly, she is the only 5th grade teacher at Lincoln Elementary School. All right, so the next word is acquainted. Whoops. Acquainted means having met or having knowledge of someone. And then the last word is hesitation. It's a pausing in speech. So when you hesitate, you pause. Okay, so we've watched the vocabulary video that talked about Greek and Latin roots. We've introduced the vocabulary words on the flashcards. And now we're just going to go over what these Greek and Latin roots actually mean. So you see here it has our root that is ped, which means foot. And the language of origin, it comes from the Latin language. Now we're going to go through and try and think of some examples of words that would include these roots. So the first one I did is pedal. Okay, so I just added the AL to the end. So when you think of pedal, so things that have pedals are like a bicycle. And then what do you use to operate that pedal to make it move? You use your foot. So a pedal is a lever moved by one's foot. The next word I'm going to do is, so it has, so centipede. So a centipede, I'm sure y'all have all seen those before. They're the little bitty, or not little bitty, they're probably kind of big bugs that crawl around, and they have 100 feet. So that's where actually this one contains 2 roots, and we'll get to that later. That's this part right here means 100. And ped means foot. And then the next one, so we're going to do another one. So this one, ped, pedestrian. So when you're walking on the sidewalk and then you go and cross the street, you are a pedestrian. So a pedestrian is a person that crosses the street on foot. And our last word is going to be pedicure. So if you've ever had a pedicure, that's when you go and get your toenails done. So pedicure is where they do your feet. Then our other roots were man and manu. Those are also Latin root words, and you see right here that both of those mean hand. So for man, one of the words that we're going to have is emancipate. And you may have already read about this you may have read about emancipate before in social studies, and we'll be talking about it soon. We'll be talking about something called the Emancipation Proclamation. So to emancipate means to be set free. And the meaning when you use the root to try and put hand in it is that to lend a hand in freeing someone is to emancipate. The next one, manu, we're going to make this manual. So, a manual is a handbook. It's a book of directions. So, you could have an instruction manual that tells you how to put something together or how to play a new game. So, manual is a handbook. So, on the other slide, we had pedicure. So, this time we're going to have manicure. And if the pedicure was to a foot treatment, a manicure is now a treatment of the hands and fingernails. And then the last one is manuscript. And a manuscript is a handwritten or typed piece of writing. So these are all examples. So you see that the root is not a word all by itself. That's we have to add things to it to make our words. So those are some examples of Latin roots, ped and man and manu, and how we use those in words that we use all the time.